Holes. Pandas. Pandas are cool. Samantha was going through her socks last week. That was like one of her projects. Went through her dresser.
Yeah.
And she had a couple pairs of just like adult medium, like funny socks. So one has like sprinkles on it. So, but like some of them are like glitter sprinkles. There's different colors.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
So I inherited a couple pairs.
That's really cool.
Yeah. That was exciting.
Hello, Jenna. How are you? Actually, can you hear us, Jenna?
Yeah, I can. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, perfect.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm going to put you on mute. There's no offense to you for that, but.
That's okay, please do.
All right. You can see us fine? I guess so. Yeah, that's probably fine. Oh, we got more people on Zoom. Okay, let's start Instagram as well.
Sounds good.
There's too many things going on for my old school brain. Surprisingly, I'm keeping up with social media though.
That's good.
Trying to. It's hard with the clinic that's closed. Very difficult. Live. Checking connection. You are now live. Okay, we're live here. Good.
There we are.
That. There we go. We're live. Live on Instagram too. Start a live. Okay. Good. And we're matching today. Look at that.
Great minds.
I shared as much as possible for this week. Sent a lot of Facebook help. Like, hey, please share this on your pages.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah. Oh, Tucker's mama just joined. That very cute dog that I had last week, the white boxer. Very cute.
Yeah.
It was a lot of good times. It helped me keep my sanity. Hey, guys. Hopefully 12 o'clock is a better time for everyone. Let's start with banter, like a talk show or something.
Yeah.
How was your weekend, Rob? Did you distinguish what was Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, or was it all the same to you?
It's hard to keep track nowadays. Reference the calendar frequently.
Yes.
Calendar's like a funny thing nowadays because it has like all of the like events and plans that we had scheduled like pre all of this, right? So it's almost like a little bit sad. Like you go to the calendar and see all the stuff you would be doing. But
that's true. I look at the calendar often and cry a little bit at night.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
You can put that on your calendar.
Oh man, such good times. Such good. Oh, we got a decent participant list on Zoom. What up, guys? So those Oilers, eh?
Yeah.
They haven't lost a game in a while.
They haven't lost since we were last on.
This is true. They're doing pretty good.
They are.
I've been trying to keep my sanity during all this, but always looking for advice on what to do. And if anybody has any ideas of what we can do, let us know. Other than talking about topics about this, we can talk about, I don't know, what made us physio or what inspired us to be physios. We could do one of those days. Like I know this week we're going to do Rob and vestibular rehab, and then we're going to do Brandon and pain science. So excited for those things. I should probably add in the TMD day for me. Yeah. I totally forgot about that. I should have done a TMD one. Next week, likely this will be lasting a little bit longer, so I'll do a TMD talk, which would probably be beneficial for a lot of the physio students or new grads or people who don't have that much experience with TMD or exposure to it. So yeah, I guess I could do that. I wouldn't mind. All right, we got a bunch of people on Instagram. We'll give it a couple more minutes, guys. Bear with us for a couple more minutes. I find a lot of live things these days, though. Holy.
Oh, yeah?
All day on Instagram. It's like this person going live, this person going live. So, yeah, I know everyone's looking forward for us to go live every day, right?
Yeah, it's like
we got some more peeps.
Social media heyday.
It is.
My wife Samantha and I, we talked about getting TikTok. So she was on there like looking at it. But we decided we don't need that.
No. I would actually I want to do TikTok for the clinic because it'd be kind of cool, but I have no idea that's beyond me. I don't know how about dancing on.
You'd have to ask
video.
someone younger.
If I could pay somebody to do it, which I can't because I don't make any money right now. Actually, no, Chelsea. I asked Chelsea to do it. So when
I bet she's on the TikTok.
No, I don't think Chelsea. Oh, Chelsea's on the Instagram though. So Chelsea, we should do TikTok. You must choreograph things for me. I know you're listening and watching as I just waved at you. Well, it looks like we got a good attendance today. This is great. Rob and I are matching, by the way. We didn't even plan this out, guys. Pants are dark too. Socks are different though. Mine's got some holes in it. Rob's got Sasquatch.
The gray though.
Yeah, I got pandas riding bicycles.
Yep.
Okay, so let's see here. I'll learn from my sister. She'll see.
There we go. Perfect.
If you create the idea, I will dance. I will do whatever. I will do whatever you tell me to do. That sounds so wrong. Okay, good. All right, so we should get started. So today, I believe, is rounded shoulders or fixing rounded shoulders. Rob's got terrible posture right there, so we're going to help fix that. Chelsea said done deal to TikTok. Done.
Perfect.
Keep a lookout for TikTok, guys.
Coming soon to a TikTok near you.
I don't know. Is that the way to say it? We'll find out. Okay, we got some more people. There we go. Okay, so we'll continue to add people in, what is it called? Zoom. And then we'll continue paying attention to Instagram. We got 2 things to focus on now as I keep adjusting things. So yeah, so we're matching. We're looking good, I think. Rob's looking great as per usual. I got my Birkenstocks on again. Life of unemployment. So rounded shoulders. I had this question posted to me by an individual on Instagram. So each week I kind of open it up to people and say, hey, what do you guys want us to do this week? And so this week's topics are all based on demand, other than Rob and Brandon presenting about their interests, their special interests. Rob does a lot of vestibular rehab and is trained for that. And Brandon does a lot in pain sciences and is trained for that and is doing his PhD currently. So he's got something to do. Maybe we should write some papers for him. Watch him fail.
Yeah, he may or may
With
not
our
like that.
help. I'll stick to doing this stuff. So yeah, and if there's any other tips you can give us or things we can do different or things to add in, we could do like an evening session of just like a talk about what we like doing as physios, why we're physios, what kind of inspired us to do what we do. So we can do like a nighttime evening coffee or something like that. So yeah, to all the physio students and physios, we can do something as well. So food for thought. So posture. My posture is pretty bad too. I should probably sit a bit straighter here.
Maybe we'll like kick it off with a little bit of like relevant anatomy.
Sure, yeah. Let's do some anatomy.
Do you mind like modeling for me?
I can do
You
that.
can.
How do you want me,
Can you
Rob?
turn 90 degrees.
Draw
to
me
the-
like all of your girls.
just a little bit further. Just like that. So for kind of that rounded shoulder position, if you don't mind demonstrating your posture, it's too good. It's too good. So the first joint that we're going to talk about a little bit back here, if you guys can sort of like make out Sunny's back, is the we call it like the scapulothoracic joint. So Sunny's shoulder blade would be sitting somewhat like this, and that scapulothoracic joint is the articulation between the shoulder blade and between the ribs underneath. So it's not a traditional kind of like bony articulation like most joints in the body are going to be. But the scapula does move over the rib cage. With example, you kind of draw your shoulder blades back. So we would call that retraction of that scapulothoracic joint. And then if you could round them forwards again, back to where we were, we call this protraction. So you can kind of picture that shoulder blade sort of gliding kind of laterally on Sunny's rib cage on both sides. The scapulothoracic joint back there, it can also kind of move upward if Sunny were to shrug for us. And then it can move downward if you were to, we call this depression of the shoulder blade, where it's moving downward. And then the shoulder blade also has the capacity, very important for the shoulder joint to kind of rotate upwards. So if Sunny were to reach up overhead with his left shoulder, it's going to be doing this kind of rotation up, which allows for that movement. And then of course it has the ability to kind of rotate down again when he comes back into a neutral position like that. Yeah, those are the big ones back there for scapulothoracic. That the shoulder blade on the thoracic spine, it can also sort of tip up or wing away from the thorax. So if we got Sunny to kind of reach up his back with his left hand, and you can't see it as well with the shirt on here, but this is one you can kind of like do yourselves at home as well. And you may notice that kind of the medial edge of the shoulder blade, that medial border, is going to tend to kind of lift away from the thorax a little bit. So that would be kind of that like tipping of the scapula as another movement. So you can bring that back around. So that's scapulothoracic. I'm just going to rotate you a little bit here. So the shoulder blade, the scapula back here, it kind of makes its way around to the side. That's where you have the socket for the shoulder joint, that ball and socket. So we also call that, it's kind of the true shoulder joint, that glenohumeral joint. So the humerus, of course, being the long arm bone, and then the glenoid fossa being the name of that socket at the lateral point of the shoulder blade here, where the humerus comes up and forms that glenohumeral or that shoulder joint. Yeah, so that's a bit of the anatomy in the area anyways. So with this rounded kind of shoulder position, we have, again, the scapula kind of coming around the thorax into protraction. And then we're also going to have, and you can kind of appreciate if this is that kind of the AC joint there, which is made up of Sunny's collarbone on the front, and then the acromion, which is part of the shoulder blade on the back. We also are going to look at kind of where that humeral head, or where the top of the humerus is sitting relative to the glenoid or to the scapula. So in some people, it's going to be like more central, and in some people, it's going to be kind of more forward or more anterior. And that will also kind of contribute to that shoulder forward posture there. Yeah, anything to add to that?
No, that's great. I think that's a great explanation. For the winging scapula, you could also do a wall push-up, and if someone's around, they can take a look at how that is for you. Sorry. Oh, there we go. We're back. Yeah, so doing a wall push-up and seeing if the scapula kind of peels off the thorax as well, or just doing the internal rotation motion. So good thing to know how things tie in together, because sometimes you might have one of the things and it doesn't really make a big difference. But yeah, like Rob said, the rounded shoulders is a multifactorial type of issue. So it involves several joints. We haven't even gone to the mid-back yet.
The mid-back.
Oh, yes, yeah. So you got kyphosis, which is a curve in the mid-back. Maybe I'll get
yeah, sounds good.
Rob's turn. I know we're touching each other, but we take strict protocols here, so we clean and everything like that. So nobody worry about that. And we're in isolation, so I don't really talk to anybody in person except Rob. So you have, let's go with bad posture again. So Rob's got his scapulae protracted, the glenohumeral joints a bit shifted forward, and then now you have the mid-back. So you have the thoracic area. Kyphosis meaning a curve that kind of comes out like that, right? So a hump in the back. You've heard that term before. So with that curve, that also is at play with rounded shoulders. So if we get Rob just to retract his scapulae, already the back straightens up a bit and gets into a better curve, right? So more of an anatomical curve. So that process will then go protract again. So you can see that, right? So you can see that curves a little bit more, and then also he pokes his chin a bit more as well. So now retract again. So you can see his chin is not poking as much, it's retracted. So this is more of an ideal sitting posture. Again, we covered it last week. Difficult to attain this all day, so we're gonna do it in steps. So a lot of the times you can just retract the scapulae, and that helps like fix the rounded shoulders. But we need to train the body to stay that way. So yes, we could say, hey, just sit straight all day and just do that all the time. That would help, but then you're gonna get tired. Other muscles are gonna kind of go through a shock, so they're not used to working as hard. So we're gonna try to train posture and strengthen it where it needs to be strengthened. So doing things like this, and obviously sitting straight is very important. Yeah, so the kyphosis is another. So you got the anteriorly shifted glenohumeral or glenoid, humerus, the humeral head. And then you got the scapulae that are protracted, and then you have the kyphosis of the mid-back, which also causes more lordosis of the neck as well. So lordosis being the chin poking. So when you sit with bad posture, a lot of things go on, right? So yes, your shoulders are rounded, your chin is poking, can cause a lot of head, neck pain and things like that, and low back too. So yeah, we're going to do a lot of simple ways to stretch areas and to strengthen and to keep you in good posture as well. We do have some anatomy slides as well. Well, not slides, Microsoft Word document. So we can flip to that, I believe. Screen share. Oh, we got a Microsoft Word document. So yeah, we got, actually we could probably just, you know what we could do? We could do this and then just flip it around. That's probably better. Yes, so we have a few different images, right? So you have sitting posture here. You have incorrect. So you have one posture, and they're all rounded too, except this third image here. But you can see the first two, just terrible posture. One of them, feet too high up, so you lose a lot of curvature of the low back, cause that kyphosis. Rounded shoulders. Whenever you're working on your desk, you're always working forward, so typically you get a lot of rounded shoulders. And another image, sitting a bit too high, leaning over. Again, this is probably more common of my studying posture throughout school. And then you got the third image here, again, butt's shifted too far forward, so you get a lot of improper curvature of the back. If you slide the butt back with this one, you get into the next image, which is correct, right? So having that lumbar support is very important as well. And that helps with the curvature in the thoracic spine, therefore will impact those rounded shoulders. So a lot of people just think rounded shoulders are one joint, but you can see that as we're just explaining it, it affects quite a few different areas, right? Yeah, so then you got normal spine on the left here, and then kyphosis. So this is just shown to illustrate that excessive curvature here in that mid-back area. So what you can see between the images left and right, so even with the image on the right, you have more kyphosis, more curvature of that back. You also have more curvature or lordosis of the neck. So you can see from image to image, there are also chin poking on the right. Something to keep in mind there. So you can see the interaction between all those areas. So then we also have the scapular protraction here. So you have, I guess you could say normal, doesn't look normal, but one sitting a little bit lower than the other. You have retraction, so kind of pinching them together. And then you have protraction, which is they're kind of separating. They're rounded forward. So there's a rounded, here's your rounded posture. What we want to avoid, we want to be like the first image, neutral, but it looks like he's probably had some previously injured. I think he's probably injured his right shoulder, potentially, by the way that looks. And then here's the glenohumeral joint. And in rounded posture, you could think of this area here shifted a bit forward. Not like, inches, but a slight shift. Anything to add with any of those, Rob?
No, that's
probably pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so those are all the images. Yeah, I don't have Brandon's fancy anatomy app. So, yeah. So that's that. We'll switch back to us mode. So that's a few things there. I'll just see if there's any questions on either end. Oh, there is a chat here, I think. Oh, this is recorded. Yes, we do have everything recorded. We keep the link on the cloud system for about 24 hours because there's limited storage space, but I do save them to my computer as well. So if anybody wanted it outside that time, we could do like a Google document or Google Drive kind of thing. I've done that for a few people last week. So, oh, Samantha Heimbeck's here. I think you guys know each other.
I think
How do you guys know each other?
Are related somehow.
Marriage, I think, is.
I think so, yeah.
Is what keeps you guys together. Yeah, so that's a few things for rounded shoulders. Hopefully that answers some things for some individuals and clarifies things a bit. The tricky thing is trying to be, effective the way we deliver things. So we don't want to go overdo the anatomy, so to speak, and keep things easy to understand. But if someone wants further clarification, they can always ask either on Zoom or Instagram or direct message or anything like that. And we can touch base with you and give you some more details. So yeah, we got a few things that work for rounded shoulders. So just to recap, for rounding up the shoulders, you have the anterior humeral head position, you have scapular protraction, and you have kyphosis, which all contribute to it. You could also add into the neck as a product of all that, the neck pokes. I would say that's a product of all those three things.
Absolutely, yeah.
So you got not ideal curvature. So there's the load transmission in the back and neck are not what they need to be, right? So your joints are taking more abuse than they should be. And we don't want that in the body. We want to be in a perfect position all the time. And how to do that perfect position all the time. We have a number of things to go through, all with, not too much equipment. I know a lot of people don't have access to fitness facilities right now, or no one really does, except us. But the big thing is to be able to do all these things at home and not have to rely on equipment. Again, when we're all free to do whatever we want, we can always get into exercises with equipment, with resistive equipment like bands, and we'll show you one thing with a band today, or even using like weights and stuff like that. So
yeah, and just for like an understanding of these exercises as well, or if you're trying to kind of maybe reason out like how or why some of your existing exercises might impact the joints that we're talking about. What we talked about with the spine last week is also true for the shoulder, of course. So when you have like, let's say like a joint that's sort of like more protracted than it would be normally, you've got to be thinking that muscles on the shortened end are often going to be tight, and muscles on the like lengthening end, so in the upper back in this case, are often going to be over lengthened and weak in lots of cases.
That's a really good point. That's a really good way to explain it. So shortened, tight, lengthened, weak. Very good. There's like the upper cross syndrome. Could have included that image, but I know there's a bit of argument for that. Not so much a diagnosis, but just a way to think. So it shows, your deep, your pecs are tight, right? And your extensors in the neck are pretty tight, giving you that chin poking and the rounding shoulders, and amongst other things. So like rhomboids and lower traps are weak versus upper traps are kind of too strong, overused. But there's lots of arguments of that too now, that we need to use your upper traps because they're supposed to be powerful muscles. But we'll get into that in a different time. We'll get Judy Shapea, the shoulder guru, to comment on that, which I have to link up with her. She might be able to come to one of these. Maybe she's already logged into here. I don't know. But okay, let's get enough of my ranting. So a few things to do. So for that thoracic kyphosis, so the excessive curvature in that mid-back, a lot of things you can do. I mean, we'll keep it simple, but what you could do is, obviously sitting in a straight posture, bringing your shoulder blades back. That works on everything all at once, so good to do. Lots of different techniques. You can put a reminder on your laptop or phone that rings and blares at you and tells you to do it. These days, everyone's at home, or a lot of people are at home and working from home. So even if you're not working from home, you're spending more time on the laptop typing, especially with phones, right? Phones create a really bad posture, probably worse than working on a computer. So everyone's using these bits of technology more. So we want to be vigilant about, like standing up, stretching out, and things like that. So we can do a few stretches. Other than that, so I like doing the wall posture. So if we move these things around, I can move the laptop around to the wall. Actually, we should say, you could say hi to all the Instagram people. So we have the wall there. So there we go. So who wants to be the model now?
Go ahead.
I could do it. Okay. Throw it under the bus. I think, yeah, you guys can see me on Zoom. So what I'm doing is I'm putting my heels against the wall. and then my bum's against the wall as well. And then I want my mid back, my scapulae, to be touching the wall as well, and the back of my head. So you got the back of your head touching the wall, your scapulae touching the wall, your bum, and the backs of your heels. And just opening up like that. So that right there, I'm causing that scapular retraction. So you're indirectly stretching your pecs and all the muscles that are very tight and trying to shorten the muscles that are not working very much. This won't be a strengthening exercise. This is just more cueing of what good posture should be. Not very realistic when you're just walking around to stand like that. You'll probably just fall over. But this helps stretch things out, right? It helps open you up. So if you're sitting here a lot throughout the day, good to go on the wall, you know, set a timer for a couple of minutes and do that a couple of times and then get back to working. This helps open you up. Very easy to do. You just need a wall, which most people have. Anything to add for that, Rob?
No, that's a really good one.
No, I guess we could get into a sleeper stretch since we're already here. So sleeper stretch, this, I mean, the idea of this is to stretch the posterior capsule of the shoulder out, so then you get a better position of the humeral, the humeral head or the humerus. So we did this last week as well. So your shoulders at 90 degrees, your elbows at 90 degrees, and you push down while keeping your humerus in contact with the wall, pushing down until you feel a bit of a stretch right in the back of the shoulder here. And then, okay, you got a good stretch, good pull. Hold for 30 seconds. 30 seconds go by, and then do the other side. Oh, hit the thermostat.
Adjust the temperature.
Just try to conserve on cost, so hopefully I hit the down button. And then pushing again 30 seconds, and then doing the other side. So 3 times 30-second holds would be good. First exercise, a couple minutes on a timer, and just go back against the wall. So far you're into like 3 to 5 minutes of exercise. That's those ones against the wall. Easy stuff to do.
Maybe I'll hop in and demo a couple as well.
Okay, Rob's got some more.
So I think I should be visible over here. So
yeah,
again, we're talking about kind of strengthening structures behind the shoulders to facilitate this good posture, and then also stretching out structures in the front. So if you're thinking anatomy in the front of the shoulders, maybe thinking like pectoralis major or even pec minor are going to be muscles that are going to kind of tend to bring the shoulder girdle forwards. So as a nice stretch to get those ones going, and this one we can call like the door frame stretch, and any door frame will work. And you're just going to kind of position your elbows, you can do this way, on either side of the door frame, just step through, and then just shift your weight through the door frame until you feel that stretch through the chest. Since the pec major in particular is kind of a fan-shaped muscle, you can stretch different fibers of the muscle by moving the elbows up a little bit, or by moving them down a little bit on the wall, just to change the orientation of the upper arm. So when I'm prescribing this exercise, I'll get people to play with a few different arm positions. And if they find one for them that's particularly tight, I'll have them hold that one for like kind of your standard, like 30 or 40 seconds. Different arm positions that way. You can do the same thing like in the corner of a room if you have a nice corner. And in that case, you're going to be putting like one hand on one wall, one hand on the other wall, and just moving through like so. And again, you can kind of play with your arm positions for that one. Yeah, so another exercise, this time we're kind of talking about strengthening the upper back. And for this one, you don't need like a stretchy band or anything. So this is just a piece of belt, more or less, kind of a seat belt. So with muscle contractions, where we have a muscle kind of contracting or tightening, but not moving through range, we call that an isometric exercise. So it's contracting, but it's neither lengthening nor shortening. Don't worry too much about that. But basically for this exercise, we're gonna be actively kind of pulling the shoulder blades back or going into scapular retraction. And then with the belt here, I'm just gonna be pulling my hands apart like this. So it's not much to look at, but basically we're kind of getting that glenohumeral ball and socket joint outward rotation, which is going to engage the rotator cuff at the back of the shoulder. And since the rotator cuff comes off of the scapula, that's going to tend to pull the scapula forwards if it weren't for the action of muscles like middle fiber of trapezius and rhomboids that are going to be anchoring it backwards. So as long as, that's a long explanation, but as long as we're keeping those shoulder blades pulled back, loading through the arms, So again, as if I'm trying to lengthen this belt, that's going to make those kind of, again, middle traps, rhomboid muscles contract isometrically and kind of get some strengthening happening back there. Yeah.
Awesome. And you could use, like if you have a TheraBand, you could do the same thing if you wanted to. So bonus one to add in. That's great because the way Rob demonstrated, anybody can do it. They always have some sort of fabric or belt to use. This, if you have a TheraBand, pretty much the same thing. So doing a concentric, eccentric type of exercise. So now doing movement through the muscle contraction. So,
and again, at the same time, shoulder blades are back and even down a little bit.
Yeah. The same time for that. There you go. There's some of that. So back to me. So those are a few things you could do, pretty straightforward. If you do learn that proper positioning of the scapulae, then you could do some rows and things like that as well, while keeping the shoulder blades where they should be. So try to do any of the exercises you do while keeping good posture. That's why we like to cue patients or clients that we work with in good posture, and then do some certain movements while keeping things simple. They can get much more complicated. So last week, or the last Instagram post, or the one before that, I do a shoulder warm up. That's pretty good for cueing muscles. So that wouldn't be bad to throw in as well if you're looking for more of a challenge. These things anyone can do. And then if you got kettlebells or dumbbells, and you can do like the carries and things like that, which are really good to do. So let's do some more. So what we got here, so we looked into kyphosis and ways to help with that. General posture tips, and then scapular, scapular positioning, and then the anterior humeral head. You have the sleeper stretch. We could do a couple of exercises on the floor. I can get on the ground, and Rob, you can show me what to do. Is that
sure,
okay?
Yeah, that's perfect.
A couple of things to do for the scapula as well. It's a lot of musculature there, so there's a lot of things we can do. Let me grab a mat, I guess.
Where's the easiest spot?
So that should be fine for there, and then we'll have to tilt. It doesn't tilt, but we can do this.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that should be good, I think. Good. So I can
Hop into position there.
I will, yes. Can everyone see? Yes, we can.
That looks good. So I guess often when we're giving people these exercises to do in clinic, this is one that we're going to frequently start with as a kind of a practice for cueing the right muscle groups, even with something like a row or those standing TheraBand exercises that we were doing a minute ago. So the trapezius muscle back here, and some of you may be familiar, but it's basically kind of a big diamond shape on the back. So it's gonna kind of run up this direction to the shoulders and then back in towards the neck. So, and it kind of runs up from the spine out towards the shoulder and then from the neck down. So different fibers of trapezius are going to pull the shoulder blade in different directions. So upper fibers of trapezius, for example, are gonna tend more to elevate, whereas lower fibers are gonna tend more to sort of depress and to retract the shoulder blade. So from this position, we can do an exercise to sort of cue that lower fiber trapezius group. And I mean, we're also going to have action from like some middle fibers, some rhomboids, some other stuff as well. But for this exercise, I'm just going to get you to kind of reach up overhead or reach forward with your right arm. Perfect. And then as we kind of retract and depress the shoulder blade, I'm going to get you to think about moving it down towards your left back pocket here. So go ahead and pull this down. Perfect. And then you can see he's just lifting the arm at the same time. And we can work this either as an isometric again, where he's holding for a number of seconds, or we can have him practice what we call, I guess it would be kind of a concentric, eccentric, a more typical exercise where he's kind of drawing it back, holding for a second, and then relaxing again. And repeating from there, again, drawing it back, And I mean, from here, we can palpate back here to ensure that he's getting the right muscle activation. And depending on his flexibility, he might even be able to get that left shoulder up there to do that on himself. But as long as you feel it working in the right area, yeah, probably not. As long as you feel it working in the right area, you have a pretty good indication that you're in the ballpark anyways. And this exercise, of course, you could easily progress at hand weights, either doing that straight arm lift like he's doing, or even mixing it up and making it more of a kind of a rowing exercise. If you were to be like off the edge of the couch, off the edge of a bed, and then he could do some more dynamic shoulder stuff from there, again, kind of while holding that right scapula in the left back pocket position. Yeah. Anything to add to that?
No, that's perfect. That's a good one. Easy to do, no equipment.
No equipment. Or a soup can.
Or a soup, yeah. The soup can would work well. Anything. Your remote. I can change channels. Okay, so back to the view for us. So I think that was a pretty good review of quite a few things. So I'm going to post questions on this. Any questions? So either on Instagram or Zoom, if anyone has any questions about any of that, please feel free to ask. That's what we're here for. So yeah, like what you should do is make a problem list, right? Just be like, well, okay, my neck hurts or my shoulders are sore, and go from there, right? Then target the back and neck if you have more back issues or headaches or things like that. And then if it's more shoulder issues, like you have pain in the scapular region, then maybe start with some of that scapular stuff we just showed you, or rolling around, right? So you can use a ball on the wall and roll a lot of those areas out, which we covered a bit last week. So yeah, any questions? To anybody on Instagram, now is the time to ask. Please don't rush all at once. So some people still joining. We will have a link. I will post the link on our Facebook page today that will have a recap or just the recorded video of this that will go through everything. So we do have a question from, what are your thoughts on tape to help with posture or one of those braces like a posture medic? That's a good question. We all, a lot of questions about taping. So I think this is one of the areas that can be effective for using kinesio tape or something like that. Not Leuko tape as much, but I like using kinesio tape for this area to cue people. So I don't use tape to support areas. I think like if you're taping an ankle due to an ankle sprain, it's more for cueing than it is to protect the area. Just because the tape itself is not going to hold things together very well. So what I typically do is I'll tape the scapulae. So if you look at Rob, what I would do is I would get Rob to retract his scapulae, and then I would tape kind of from midline all the way up to the upper back neck area, and put a couple strips there, put a couple strips here, and then when he relaxes, he'll actually feel the tape pull a bit, knowing that he has to bring those. That's supposed to cue his shoulder blades back. So I will do that for some individuals. I think that's a good tool. I usually get good feedback because then patients know it's more so, hey, okay, I get a little bit lazy. Okay, now I feel the tape pull. Okay, now I got to bring my shoulder blades back. So I think it's a really good cueing tool. The posture medic, I put on once. It keeps you there, but eventually you got to wean off of those things because you want strength and you want the body actually adjusting to the posture. So if you strengthen these areas, then you don't need these tools, right? So if you're making those adjustments yourself, then you don't need these to rely on these things. Anything to add about that?
That's perfect. I was going to say the same thing. Like with any kind of external support, I think there always needs to be a plan in place for weaning.
Yes.
Yeah. So that you're eventually not dependent on it.
Yeah, I think that's a big thing. So all these tools are great, but you have to wean off of them at one point. So braces and things like that, I usually recommend when there's a high grade sprain for a joint. So if it's an ACL, then to use a custom brace, something like that would be more beneficial. But if it's, not a very serious sprain, then to, use your body, right? Use what you the taping and things like that as minimally as possible. So not using it too much. Yeah, posture medic, I just haven't looked at any data on it. And long term, I think in the short term, it's great. It helps the posture right immediately. But long term research, I'm not too sure. And Brooklyn, you can clear that up if you want. If you have any data, feel free to share. Feel free to share. We got another individual asking, can you demonstrate some serratus anterior exercises? We can do that. Okay, good. I'm sifting through all the questions here. What modification would you usually do next for a more dynamic movement, like a bird dog, or add weight? Yeah, you could. I mean, for the scapula, you could do a bird dog and use that retraction principle. Absolutely. And do the motion. Bird dog, you could also add some weight. So if you use TheraBand, you could use that for the bird dog. So yeah, that's the good thing about taking that scapular retraction and making it adaptable to any exercise. Yeah, superimposing.
I can even demo a couple of those.
Yeah, Rob can demo a couple of those, and then we also have exercise for serratus anterior, which we can do. That's a good one. Yeah, another person indicated I agree to limiting weaning from support tools, which is good. So we have Rob there.
Am I visible on that?
You are visible on Zoom currently.
Visible to everybody?
Yeah.
So again, this is the same thing we were doing with Sunny a minute ago, where he was flat on his stomach. We can do the same thing from kind of like a 4-point, kind of quadruped position, where we're bringing that shoulder blade. So my left one in this case, back and down towards my right pocket. And then the way we had Sunny doing it was just retracting and a bit of an arm lift. You could easily like add a hand weight to that, just to increase the load with the same movements. You could also do the same thing with a bird dog, so combine arm-leg movements, like was mentioned on there. You can do the same thing as well. So again, that same scapular kind of retraction, depression towards the pocket, and you can do something as simple as a row from there as well, with an appropriate amount of weight. Or you can even do something, even like some rotator cuff stuff, adding something like an outward rotation. And again, since those rotator cuff muscles come off of the shoulder blade, they're going to be kind of indirectly increasing the load on that lower trapezius that we want to get there anyways.
Yeah.
Is that pretty good? Or?
I think that's perfect. That's a great way to progress things pretty easily. So a lot of progressions that you could just try them out and see how they go, right? We know a number of exercises, but people often educate us on like, well, we just play around. So right there is a very easy way to progress things in a very like a functional position too, right? So you're loaded and you're doing activity. You can also get into some lumbar rehab with that. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Then serratus, that's kind of a fun muscle. It's like a little bit. It's one that I find is like hard for people to kind of imagine, like the location of that muscle. Yeah. But it runs from you can kind of go like medial border of the shoulder blade, like that. Yeah. And then it wraps around the rib cage, so it kind of comes forward through the armpit and attaches onto the ribs down there. So it's one that's going to basically kind of protract the shoulder blade, right? Yeah. So if you were to do something like a forward reach, where you're moving that arm as far forward as possible, but without rotating the trunk to achieve that, that's going to be kind of replicating the action of the serratus. So so some exercises that I'll use for serratus, like a really easy one, if I'm still visible here.
Yes, you are.
Can even be just from this position and then reaching forward as far as possible. So again, kind of getting that scapular protraction to achieve that reach.
Yeah, so everyone's going to be watching right over here. I know it might be a little bit hard to see, but
yeah, he's reaching forward, and that's gonna basically get that going. Again, you could add a hand weight to that.
So yeah, you got anything at home, hand weights or milk jug, whatever it is.
Yeah. Same thing from there. Yeah. Like a serratus punch might be the sort of the name you use for that. Yeah. And you can do the same thing with an elastic band anchored under my back, held in my hand, and again protracting against it. You can also progress serratus exercises the same way that you would progress like push-ups.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, that's a good point.
like for example, you might kind of get the 4-point position there again, and allow the shoulder blades to retract passively, and then kind of get that active protraction. So it's sort of as much of a push-up as you can do without bending the elbows. And then, I mean, progression for that, you could do the same thing from the toes, the same way that you would do a push-up from the toes. Again, allowing that passive retraction and then active protraction as you push up. And then for earlier on with the serratus, you can do the same things like a wall push-up or a countertop push-up, which is going to be less load than your horizontal push-up.
Yeah, that's great.
Those are a few anyways.
That's a lot of stuff to work on. Yeah, that's quite a few things for, again, the biggest thing is to try these things out and see how it feels. If it targets the area that you need the work, so in that serratus area, then that's what you want, right? So, and if it doesn't, then change the way you do it, especially with the push-ups. You get loaded. That's a really good one. That'd be a good progression. Start laying on your back and seeing if you can get that contraction done right, and then go from there. That was great. Thanks, Rob.
And the serratus again, I mean, we've been talking about that kind of that forward shoulder position. So you might think that since the serratus is a protractor, that it might be a muscle that we don't want to work too much, but it also has a really important function in helping the shoulder to kind of rotate upward properly. So
yeah,
it's
very key muscle that's often underworked and causes that wing scapula. The wing scapula. So we got, my head is tilted to the side because I'm reading on this. I have pain in my wrists. I'm not able to do a push-up without pain in the top. What would you suggest physio-wise for the pain? So determining what is happening. Oh, I should change that. So this question was getting pain in the top of the wrist when doing a push-up. So could be a number of things. What I would do is to compare the mobility of both your wrists, right? So see if one is as mobile as the other. If one's a little bit limited, could be just a simple stretching thing, right? Doing these kind of stretches or a prayer stretch that we showed last week, or walking down a wall and keeping the entire surface of your hand on the wall, stretching it out. So I would try just giving it a good stretch and then doing some push-ups and see if it helps. It could just be a stiff, well, let's just say a stiff joint for argument's sake. That could be causing it. And a question I would ask would be, have you had previous wrist issues or previous wrist injuries? Have you fallen on that wrist? Could be a lot of things going on there. But I would say try some stretches out and then go from there, do a push-up and see. If you're doing full push-ups, then maybe switch to knee push-ups. If that helps, then just stick to knee push-ups until you build a bit of strength. Yeah.
And if it is kind of that like full wrist extension position that is causing the pain, you can also get around that by, like, for example, like holding on to a little dumbbell.
Yeah.
Just so that your wrist is neutral rather than extended, or doing like push-ups off the fist, that kind of a thing too.
Yeah.
It's still the same amount of load through the joint, but just in a different position.
Yeah. That's a good point. Try different positions of the push-up and go from there. So. Yeah. Any other questions? We got a couple more minutes. Sorry for anyone who just recently signed in. The goal is to 12 o'clock every day to do these things. I think we're pretty good with timing. Tomorrow is going to be Rob, I believe, right?
I think so.
Yes. Tomorrow is Rob. Vestibular rehab. So if anyone's had dizziness, vertigo, anything like that, and want to learn more about that area, tomorrow would be a great day to attend. Especially for a lot of the physio students, new grads, things like that. He's got some tools that require extra training, so it'd be very good to get some advice on that.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yes, it is.
It really is.
I agree, it is. Every time I watch Rob treat or talk about it with the passion he does, it's very interesting. It's a lot of good energy. So yeah, very, very thankful he's here and has the skills that he has, which is amazing. Okay, any questions? Hopefully that answers some of them. I think we answered all of them. And again, you can always direct message us on Instagram or Facebook, send an email to info or sunny@pursuitofmotion.com. and ask us more questions. We can send more resources. We like doing this stuff clearly because it's week number 2. And we have a schedule for all week. So visit our Facebook or Instagram page and you can see a post that shows our schedule for the week, and what kind of topics we've been covering or we're going to be covering. So, and with that, you can give us suggestions for the following week, in case if we are still in social distancing precautions, we can come up with a schedule for week 3 and whatever you guys have. It's best to just get feedback from individuals, and that way we know what to focus on. We got an awesome thank you. That's good. So a couple more minutes. We'll leave it to the floor to ask questions. While I ask Rob, what are you doing for the rest of the day, Rob?
Well, I started my taxes on the weekend.
Very nice.
So I'll be going home to work on those.
Oh gosh.
Using Simple Tax.
Okay, doing it
Fantastic
yourself.
software. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I should do that to save costs, but I have a wonderful accountant that does it. I don't want to say does it for me because I feel like it's rude to say that, but has a great service and provides his services to me. I got a question by, who is this guy? Brandon Powalski. I have no idea who this guy is.
Sounds sketchy.
No clue. It's not like he works here and is a wonderful physio or anything. Brandon asked, why did Rob shave? Rob had a bit of a beard before, so even to me, I was shocked. I'm like, wow, your face is so clean.
Yeah.
Why did you shave, Rob?
It's the short answer is it's a seasonal thing. So
Yeah.
we're officially into spring now, and we're going with a clean shaven look for these warm summer months.
That's good, yeah. But did you know it's like minus 15 out there, and it's supposed to snow 10 to 15 centimeters. There's a warning in effect. Well, this morning there was, but be careful. Yeah, stay indoors, which we already are anyways. Yes, that's why, Rob. Hopefully that answers the questions, Brandon. Oh, we got Jenny as well. Thumbs up. You missed everything, Jen.
Did she just come in?
Yeah, I think so.
I have to message Sunny for the recording.
Yes, you must message me. You will have a good time. Yeah. Any other questions? Could be anything, like Rob's beard, where it is currently. Brandon likes the answer. Thumbs up on that.
Hey, good, I'm glad.
Brandon couldn't be here with us today as he has other things to do. He's busy. So these days will be a mixture of one of us, 3 of us, 2 of us. So someone will be doing a robot. We'll get someone to, yes, Jen, oops, it is. But that's okay. You can come tomorrow and the other day and the other day after that at 12. We should do like to any physios or students or whatever is out there. Let us know if you want to be featured in one of the videos or the live feeds. That way we can get you to collaborate with us. And I know there's a very great physio that lives in Toronto right now too. So we can kind of go across Canada, get some more tips and feedback and kind of have like a nice little discussion, a round table, let's call it. A round table discussion and learn from each other and things like that. So I'm sure Jen would be open to that too. She's local, but great physio. We may or may not know her as well. May or may not have graduated. And funny thing is, like, Rob, Brandon, and I graduated together. So it's actually a very good, very nice treat working together as well and working as professionals and growing. See how far we've come since the school day, since the school days. I think that's it for questions. I don't see anything on Zoom. So yeah, recording will be posted. So I'll put it on Facebook and Instagram. I can put on as well, but it just doesn't. You can't click it. At least Facebook, you can click it. So yeah. Other than that, guys, thanks for joining us today and fixing rounded shoulders. And hopefully you learned a few things and try these things out. Let us know how it goes. Your body will love you for it. Bye. Okay. Bye, guys. Bye, Steven.
Bye, Zoom.
Holy, everyone cleared out right away.
Wow.
End meeting.
Zoomed right out of there.